South Africa has reiterated its support for the decision by Business Leadership South Africa to fund private investigations into alleged corruption at Eskom. The power utility's former CEO, Andre de Ruyter, approached BLSA to fund a forensic report that was aimed at investigating criminal sabotage activity at the power utility. The private investigations funding has since been widely criticized by some in opposition parties and society. We understand that funding came to a sum of 50 million rand, with BLSA funding 18 million or contributing 18 million rand. Cas Coovadia is the CEO of Business Unity South Africa, and he joins us now for more on this. Thank you so much, Cas, for your time this afternoon. We understand, actually, I do beg your pardon, that Business Unity South Africa contributed some 18 million rand. What were you told by Andre de Ruyter when he approached you for funding?
I think your understanding is incorrect. Business Unity South Africa did not contribute any money. BLSA funded the 18 million rand. So I don't know where you get that information from. Business Unity South Africa did not put in any money into this because we just don't have the budget for that. So just to correct that. I mean, Business Unity South Africa's members are business organizations, not corporates. BLSA was able to fund this or contribute 18 million rand towards it because their members are corporates, and corporates took the decision to then fund this.
Thank you very much for the clarity. What do you know about what Andre de Ruyter said when he was asking for this funding?
Well, what Andre de Ruyter said was that he is unable to do the work he's supposed to be doing, which is to actually address load shedding as well as deal with some of the issues at power stations and so on, and address the issue about, in the long term, putting Eskom onto the road towards cleaner energy, because there were various instances of sabotage and corruption in Eskom as a result of the previous leadership at Eskom, that he hasn't been successful in getting law enforcement agencies and security agencies to investigate this, that an investigation is necessary not to determine proof and evidence and so on, because that's the job of law enforcement agencies, but to begin to uncover what's happening there and to begin to see what the sort of pattern of corruption and sabotage is, with a view to then making such report available to the law enforcement agencies to take action to investigate and hopefully to prosecute. And that's what he put to business. And at that time, as now, energy is obviously critical inhibitor to economic growth, let alone being a burden because of the load shedding and so on ordinary citizens. And a decision was taken that within the context of BLSA responding positively to approaches by government and state-owned enterprises for assistance, which they've done before and they will continue to do. Within that context, which is in the normal course of what they do, it was decided to fund this. BLSA did this on an arm's length basis, as we usually do, as does BUSA. So if you take the Resource Mobilization Fund that BUSA is part of, where we raise money to donate expertise to NECOM. We did that on an arm's length basis. NECOM determines what expertise they need. We, on an RFP basis, secured that expertise and donated it to NECOM. We didn't determine what expertise is needed and so on. And similarly with Eskom, we were approached by the CEO of Eskom for assistance, and we assisted. And that's what we assisted for.
Mr. Coovadia, Is there anything that you would do differently, or would you do this again? You say Andre de Ruyter wanted to take this information to law enforcement agencies. We saw the SIU, the Hawks, the South African Police Services, and even the board of Eskom before Scopa last week. None of them have caught sight of this report. Those who have are calling the report or are saying the report contains speculation and unverified information. We won't even go into the service provider that actually did this investigation. But is there anything that you would do differently, given what it is that is coming out recently?
Yeah. So firstly, the report that BLSA has had none of the sensational stuff that's out in the public space. I don't know where that has come from. Maybe there were some raw documents that made up the report, but I can't speculate on that. And if we look at the announcement by the President at the 2023 SONA of arrests that have been made of people in power stations and so on, and we compare that to the report BLSA has, then it's quite clear that some information was given to law enforcement agencies and they acted on that, and people have been prosecuted. Having said that, what lessons to be learned? I think firstly, as business, we will continue to respond positively, provided we are satisfied that the request from government for assistance will make a difference in raising confidence in the country and getting investment in putting us onto a growth path. And we will continue to do that because we believe business has a responsibility to do that. But having said that, given the lessons from this particular incident, I think that where any government agency or government department approaches business, we put to them that they need to be absolutely clear and they need to do thorough due diligence on whoever they choose as a service provider. And they need to be assured that there will be nothing in that service provider that would embarrass either business or government. And I think it's those sorts of lessons that we need to learn, but still trying to keep an arm's length distance to the relationship, because otherwise what we would be accused of is trying to influence what government is doing, and we don't want to do that. We want to support government in what it wants to do.
So Business Leadership South Africa contributed 18 million rand towards the 15 million rand. Do you know where the rest of the money came from, the 32 million rand?
Nope, no idea.
Thank you so much for your time this afternoon.